So there's that. For the new people, is the JavaScript 30 website. It's just javascript30.com. I already watched a video earlier tonight. I mean, earlier today, not tonight. So if you want to watch the video, if you never watched it, you got to sign up here. And then when you go to your account, you can stream the videos. The video is like 10 minutes long. And then this is the GitHub for the project. So I'm gonna do it like all the other weeks. Just start with the CSS. So go here. So let's go here. When you come into Code Sandbox, it has the CSS. I'm just gonna wipe this out. And then, why is it so big like that? Oh, because I gotta get rid of this. Okay, let's get the HTML, which is this. Let's just wipe this out. Oh, actually, we need the top level div. So let's get rid of this. What is all this? What did I copy and paste wrong? Did somebody? Let's see. Try that again. What?
Image element needs a closing tag.
Dang, I got that mad because of that. It's mad about a whole bunch of stuff. The inputs. What else? So let's fix all the errors and then we can get started. So input 17. What is it mad about there? Does anybody see? Line 16. Oh. Now what? Why is it?
I think you missed the a closing greater than. Wait, yeah, greater than sign on line 16. Wait, some 29.
You also remove your quotation mark on your hex value on line 16.
Thank you. Okay, thanks. Let's see, what is it complaining about here? It's like trying to help me be good and make my image accessible. So what is this? I don't know, lady, person on mountain. I don't know. Let's see if we got rid of all the errors. Nope. So class. So this happens all the time. What was it? Command D or Control?
Command D. Command D.
Okay. So is that? For HTML4. So for people not familiar with React, like you can't use for. That's what it's complaining about because it's a reserved word. So it's saying you have to do HTML4. Let's see.
It's you put in for HTML instead of HTML4.
Yes. Could have used my Command D here. Let's see. Also,
are you on line 10 as well?
Oh yeah.
Where is it? Oh,
Line 10.
HTML4. Okay, let's see what else. The value prop. Okay, so this is on line, doesn't say what line. So value 10. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Actually, let's leave that warning for now. It's just saying that we need an on-change handler, because like when we move the inputs, we want to keep state of like what the input value is, and then we pass that into the value so that it can update dynamically. But I want to get to that later, because I want to get to the defining the CSS variables first. So I don't know if everyone here has used CSS variables before. I think it's kind of new, at least in the past few years. I forget when CSS variables became a thing. But usually you put it on the root in the CSS. So like in the CSS, you can put it on like body, or you can make your own classes. But when you define the CSS, usually you put it on the root. That's like the highest element, I think. So if you do root, so it represents the root of the tree of the HTML of the DOM, but apparently it has a higher, the specificity is higher than the HTML. So people usually put the CSS variables on the root to make sure that the CSS variables are available to every single node in the tree. So we can like just copy this just to have some code to get started. I'm a copy pasta fanatic. For all the people that's been here, you can see I just copy pasta everything. So we're gonna need 3 variables, because the way Wes Bos does it is he makes, like if you go back and look at it, so he makes 1 variable for the base color, and then he makes this JS the same color as the border around the image. I think the border is the padding though. Let's try to look at it.
Quick question. How
Yep.
do you get into the sandbox, the code sandbox?
Oh, I can get you the link. So it's in the chat. But if you weren't here, there it is again. So you can go in there, and then what I did is, so my coding style, like when I'm just trying to figure stuff out and just prototype, I do a lot of copy pasta. So I go and I just copy some existing code just to have stuff to play around with. Mm-hmm. And then I always pop open the console, and like, if I'm doing styling, I go look at some other site that has some styling that I want to do. Like I'll just like start by like copying or just looking like how they did it. Like I can see this image, how did they put the border on? So they put it on the background. So I can see the spacing variables going on the padding, and then the colors going on the background, and the filters on the blur. So we can actually just copy all this. Copy pasta again. So let's, instead of this, let's copy pasta that. So not like that. That's not what I wanted to do. Hey, I'm gonna need some of that, so I'm gonna just comment that out for now. We're gonna need it on like some, let me put it outside actually. Let's put this. I'm gonna need that information to style the image. Actually, let's put it on the image. What am I doing? Let's just put it on the image. Let's just put it here. So like that, but we gotta define the variables. The variables aren't defined yet. So we need a spacing, and then we can start it off at whatever, 10 pixels. And then base, 10 pixels. And then blur, I don't know what, if it's pixels. Does anybody know? Let's see.
I think it's pixels.
Yeah, I think it's pixels too.
Yeah. Pixels, yeah. Or it can be, yeah, let's just do pixels. Or let's try and look. What is it? If you do this, what if you do 10? Oh, only if it's 0, you can't put the pixels. So yeah, you need the pixels. Let's see. So blur, I don't know. Let's put all of them 10 pixels for the default. So main color. Oh, the color is a color. What did I put? I put pixels. Oh no. Spacing, base, and blur. So the spacing is, what is he using the spacing for? Let's see. So another thing, let's try and search for spacing. So he starts the page out. I can just look right now. So blur 0, 0. Base is a color. So I put pixels, so that's wrong. So the base should be, let's just start it off with like yellow, something like that. So you can see that, like, you can see the image in the background, it like updated, like if I did this, see how it updated to red because it's using the, I'm setting the image background to this base value of this variable. So you define the variables up here, and then you can use it anywhere in any like tag or class that you make. And then, so you don't need like Sass. Like in Sass, you can make variables. I don't know if people use Sass. I stopped using Sass a long time ago. But because now you can just use variables like built in from CSS. So you can also use it in the JavaScript because you can inline the styles using the variable names. So,
quick question.
Mm-hmm.
For CSS variables, is that in CSS3 natively, or is there like, how would you get access to it? I remember you mentioned like
it's let's try and look. I'm not sure what exactly the browser support is, but like last week we just scroll down. So it looks like it's not supported in Internet Explorer. So if you're building a site for Internet, you needed to support Internet Explorer, then probably not a good idea to use this. Or you might have to figure out some like fallback styles. So it's always good to check the browser compatibility with, especially with newer features, since this is like kind of new, right? I forget when this came out. We can try look. What year did CSS variables come out? 2012. So it's still new in terms of the web, but like
the usage is not new.
Oh, originally spec'd out in 2012. I don't know when it actually hit the browsers though.
It looks like it's been around since Chrome 49.
So that's the support you can do. It just doesn't work in anything below 49. So it has pretty wide support. So
I think when I watched a video, it said he said 2018.
Oh, so it is pretty new.
Oh wow.
Like for me, I've been lucky. Most places I work, like we only support like I haven't worked on customer facing projects, so my new job is gonna be different because I'm gonna be working on a customer facing project now. I work mostly on internal tools, so I was lucky. I didn't need to like worry about old browsers. I could just tell all my users, you got to use Chrome. You got to use you got to use like newer versions of Chrome. That like allowed me to move faster because I can just like use all the new stuff and it makes everything way easier. Okay, so we also got to make this highlight. So we're missing, it's on H. He put HL, which is highlight.
I got a question.
Yeah.
How do you intend on so it looks like the source of the color is going to be coming from that input tag, which is going to be controlled by React. How are you going to pass the color from React down to the CSS variables?
So we're gonna do it on the style tag. That's what I'm planning to. So like we'll put like on this image, we'll add like style.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But then what's the need now? What's the need then for the CSS variables, I guess? If we can set it directly on style.
We're gonna set the well, this is just to learn how to convert his exercises into React. So this is not necessarily the best way to do it. It's just to demonstrate that you can do it like this, right? The whole point of these exercises is not, this is the best way to do it. It's just to introduce stuff that you may not have known. Like, I don't know if people knew there's like a built-in color picker to HTML. Like this is not a library that's just this input. That's what this input does.
Yeah, that is cool. I had no idea that was there.
So yeah, these exercises are just to like play around with stuff. It's not to like show you the best way to solve the problem. It's just a way to solve the problem. So it's just to play around with like managing state and React and just seeing different ways of doing things. Like now, we're gonna solve this with CSS variables. So in here, we're gonna set the CSS variables like he does inside of the project. Like, so I think, let's see what he does. So he sets the styles on the HTML tag. So that's why I popped this open. Like, I can see, without even like looking at the source code, I can see how he solved this. Like when these numbers changed, you can see these numbers are changing. So the way he solved it is by adding these onto the style tag on the HTML, except we don't have access to the HTML. So we're gonna have to put it like lower. So we can probably add it onto like our root div, I think, like instead of the style here. We're probably gonna put it on this div because when he did the plain HTML, he had the whole like HTML document, but we're working in just like one React component. So we're gonna scope the styles to this component. At least I think. I haven't done this in React before. This is I'm just doing it live with you. So we'll see. Let's get the highlighting first though. I just want to get it set up and then we can try and let, if there's anybody brave enough to like jump in once I get it set up, like maybe we can have people attempt to do some of the pieces after we discuss how we want to solve it. So let's see. First of all, let's make this, let's get the color, and then I want to make the text smaller. The text looks way, oh no, his text is that big too. Let's just leave it. So let's see. HL, so, oh yeah, I forgot. So what does he do with the HL? So var base on the color. Oh yeah, I can just copy and paste that. So let's see. There we go. So let's start it off at yellow. So now we got the basics down. Let me set up the state. I'm not gonna hook up the state. I'm just gonna hook it up.
Just define it?
Yeah, just define it. So let's see. So we're gonna need spacing, set spacing equals use state. So let's do default default spacing. Actually, we don't need to be good. Let's just hard code it. Let's actually store it in numbers. We can add the PX on like later on in the style. It's easier to store the numbers, I think. So spacing, and then what else we got? Blur, set blur equals use state 10. So yeah, like I said last week for people here, I'm using magic numbers again. It's not the best for production code, but we're not making production code. We're just playing around. Base. Base. We called it base, right? So base, blur, and spacing equals use base. Oh.
Oh, use state.
Use base.
No trouble.
So let's hook these up. So instead of value, let's do spacing, and let's do shit. Let's do that. So we'll go like that, and then we'll put this on this one. Blur. Oh, actually, this part doesn't need the pixel. What am I doing? This is, I'm thinking about the styles. Oops, what did I do here? Blur, and then this one is base. Okay, before I go any further, I don't know if I'm going too fast for anybody. Anybody have any questions? You just want to pause? Oh, I wasn't even paying attention to the chat. See. Anybody have any questions? No?
It's a silly question, but you have to import styles.css on every JS file that you use? Or just this main app JS?
On the what?
You have to import styles.css just on this main app.js file, right? Unless you're using it for another.
Oh yeah, so
Right.
Code Sandbox, like by default, it just comes when you pick the React template. You just have this CSS. You can put your styles in there, and you can just import it. So there's lots of different ways to do CSS, but like the template for Code Sandbox just sets it up like this. So we're just using it the way that it set up the template. So these, like where, yeah, hello?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention he was correct that each JS file is considered as a component, and you would want to import the style sheets on each of those.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like you can't just put yellow. I was wrong. I guess you have to put a hex value. So let's see, what was the, I don't know. I'm just gonna use, okay. So yeah, so when you're doing the input, it wants the hex values. So another thing, when you do the HTML vanilla, Westboss always stores the data inside the DOM, but we don't need that because we're using React. We can just store the values in variables. So I'm gonna delete these like data keys just because we don't need those things. Okay, now let's try and hook up the, does somebody else wanna try this part? We just wanna hook up the on-change like handlers so that, and for now, and let's just console log like what's coming through. So like when you move this, like let's console log like what's coming out. So right now I can't even move it because we need an on-change handler to update the values, right? So does anybody want to attempt to do that? We can Google first how to do on-change handler on the HTML range on-change, or let's just do event handler, just to make sure, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
I can take a crack at it if no one wants to, but I want someone else to go in front of me.
Let's see. Well, let's read this first. So you can do on-change inside a, I watched a video earlier and he did on-change and mouse move for some reason. Let's see. Change.
I think you did mouse move so that you have a gradual change of the color instead of a jump.
Well, why do you need both? Why can't you just do mouse move?
I mean,
yeah, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I agree. I think you should be able to get away with just mouse move, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try and just do mouse move then. No sense hook up two event handlers when we just need one. So, did somebody want to try? I think Claude said he'll try if nobody else wants to try. Well, I'm gonna enable you anyways. But if anybody else wants to try, let me know and I can enable you. All we're doing right now is we're hooking up we're gonna try on mouse move for the ranges. And then we also have to set up the, let's hook up the ranges first, just so we can like start moving these things around.
Ooh. Oh, I have control. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Anybody?
So we're doing.
Let's try on mouse move to see if we can get away with just that event handler. Yeah, let's just console log see. Yep, it's
attached it to spacing. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming out. I can see the event, but you got to get the value. Yeah, let's try console log the value.
There you go.
Okay, we got it. Let's try hook it up now instead of console logging.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Set it to spacing. So do you want to just put it here, or do you want me to create like a function?
However you want to do it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're just again, we're not making production code. We're just playing around with
change. What's the spacing? This. Then we want to set spacing. And so it's more explicit. Let's see, spacing. Oh, no. Actually, no, that should be enough.
Let's see if it works. Let's see. So maybe we do need the
mouse over?
The change. Like it doesn't, I can't move it.
Yeah, let's try on change.
So
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you do need
both.
Yeah. Let's try console log spacing just to see, because we didn't hook up the styles yet, so we can't see if the spacing thing is working yet. Let's see.
And
oh, you need to put it in the on-chain spacing. It's outside of it right now.
What is that?
Spacing. What is spacing?
You can actually.
Lots of padding. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you can actually set that directly on the on-change function. Is that set spacing directly on there, and you won't have to bubble up to the on-chain spacing function to grab that. That's just another option. Either way, I think works.
Wait, you want to jump in and do what you're saying?
I was saying, I don't have, I'm on my, I can't get access to it, but the set spacing, the on-change can be passed directly, the on-chain spacing function can be passed. The set spacing event.target can be passed directly on the on-change function in the input instead of having it call the on-chain spacing function. Yeah, you could pass that directly in there, and it will instead of having to bubble up to that function. It's not that big. It's just kind of for execution and performance. So it would execute quicker to pass that set spacing directly into that on-change function versus having it have to go and call that function. So that's, but like,
what did I do here?
I'm not sure if I'm following.
Oh, okay, so you see where the on-change function is?
Yeah.
There? So we're basically, the set spacing event could be passed directly to that on-change instead of having it call another function.
What do you mean pass directly?
I think he's saying that.
Okay, the on-chain in the input where it has a spacing where we have on-change equals event, and then we're returning the function that's passing in that event, we can have the set spacing that's being passed. We can have that.
Do you mean?
Yeah, right there on that line. Line 29 could be set spacing, curly brackets, event.target.value instead of having to call. Yeah, instead of having to call.
So you mean executing the function? I was
okay. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. That's what.
It doesn't matter. I know it either bubbles up for that, but that was just something because I tend to have it execute directly in the on-change.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more of a preference. I was just mentioning that.
That's weird.
Okay.
Why is that happening?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because you put the style padding on this input. That's not what we want to do.
Oh, whoops.
It it does demonstrate that it's working, but
we want it on the image. Whoops.
We can, this is kind of redundant. We can refactor this to just do this, like you can just do this. It's kind of redundant to.
Oh yeah, that is true. I remember that. Okay, let me delete this then.
Wait, I got, what did I delete? Let's see.
On-chain spacing is not defined.
Oh, you deleted it.
Here, 1 second.
Yeah, you just have to indirect about.
Set spacing. It's event.target.value.
So whenever you're like passing in whatever value get passed into the anonymous function, you can just, it's redundant to write the whole thing out again. So you can just do this because when it executes, it's going to execute this function. That's the callback. So it's a little easier to read and it's like less code.
Yeah, I do remember that. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, but so this is just to prove that it's working, but we're gonna use the CSS variables instead of doing that's what you were talking about before. You're like, why don't we do this? Because we're learning CSS variables. That's why we're not gonna do it like that.
Sure, we can refactor it.
Okay, so instead of doing it here, where could we put this? Let's just work on the spacing. Does somebody else want to try? Like how can we use the CSS variables? Or do people want me to do it?
So the CSS variables are defined in the CSS file. So my question would be, how would you have...
We're importing the CSS.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you look on what he was doing, he's setting the style and he's updating the actual variable value. So that when that variable is used, like if we put it on this top level, then that updates the specificity, I think. So if any classes or anything with inside here are using that variable, they're going to use the new value that was passed to that CSS variable because the CSS variable got updated. I believe, if from what I understand. I haven't used it in a while, but I think that's what happened. So instead of this, we could do style. We kind of copy what he's doing, but instead of putting it on the HTML, we're doing it. I think you got to put it in string. So we're going to update spacing to this. Let's see.
And we do need the PX, right? Because like the console log earlier was just logging out the numbers.
Yeah, I put the PX.
Oh no, so, I was just wondering whether we did need it because like I put it on the bottom earlier. I wasn't sure if we did.
I'm pretty sure you need the PX. Like if we don't put it,
yeah, it'll be invalid CSS.
Look, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Because the way that we're using that variable, if we go back to the CSS, spacing, we have it on the image and we have it on padding. So on padding, you can't just put a number, right? In React, you can't just put a number. And React, on padding, you can just put like 40, 50 or whatever, and then React knows what you're talking about. But if you, if you're setting the CSS variable, apparently it doesn't let you do that. You got to put the PX on there. Okay, so we got spacing working. Does somebody want to try and do the blur now? Since it's should be the same thing, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
And look, the change works. So I don't know why he did the mouse move because it's updating as we're dragging it. So I'm not sure. Let's just roll with the on change. Anybody else? Or should we just let Claude do the next one?
We just type and reference the existing template.
Kiki, go type it.
I gotta enable you.
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's why we're here. We're here to help you. I don't know what I'm doing either.
This is
oh, go ahead.
This is cool, Sam. I didn't know that you can change the values of the CSS variables that you set on root.
That's why we're doing these exercises.
I know, yeah.
To learn new stuff.
So I set the constant for onChange blur first.
Yep. Or you can call it whatever your heart desires, because we'll let you call it whatever you want.
onChange clearer vision. Absolutely not. Set blur. Target. And then now I just have to use the onChange hook to call this.
Yep, you got to set the prop. So
yeah.
I'm
in blur. Okay.
Have you got this far in React yet?
Absolutely.
To learn how to pass like callbacks to props.
I've only used effect, used default, I think. I don't know. I was just doing random things with just put all the hooks and read on the docs and see what happens.
Yeah. So like on inputs, these are like called event handlers, and then you can pass functions as the value. So that's what we're doing. We're defining the function onChange blur, and we're saying whenever the value for this input range changes, execute this function. So let's see if it works. Let's get rid of this.
I didn't set the final effect, so all it does is moving back and back.
Oh, we got to update the style too. So line 18, yeah. You want to do that part too?
Yeah. So do I put it inside as well? Just here? Or is it like another?
No, style is when you pass style to HTML element, you just passed an object of keys and values. So this is one key and this is one value.
So is it like this?
Oh, gotta go.
The comma goes inside of the object.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
There you go.
Just one object.
Okay. Yeah, style takes one object.
It was dash. Was it blur?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Very fitting.
Semantic names.
This is how I feel currently. What? This is how what? My blur still doesn't work right now.
No, it's just that's an invalid value, so it was just
upset.
it just got rid of the blur. Okay, let's see if it works now. Let me try drag it around. Yep.
Yes.
It looks like it's working. Awesome. Yeah, it works. Yeah. See.
I'm 100% blur right now. That's me.
You did it.
Yay!
Do you even need the string? I think you need the string. I want to see if it works without it. Yeah, you need the string.
Yeah, it's upset.
I guess I think if your key doesn't start with a letter, then you need to put it in quotes. I think maybe.
I think it's when it's not like a standard property.
Just like just no.
I'm not 100% sure though.
No, I mean just like a regular JavaScript object. Like anytime the key doesn't start with a letter, I think you might need, or
Oh, okay.
You might be able to put a number too now. I don't know if the number used to work. It converts the number to it converts everything to a string for the keys though, I think.
Yeah, the keys have to be a string, right?
Yeah, but normally, like, you can just like put like padding.
I mean,
you don't need to put it in quotes. That's what I'm trying to say. Not, I'm saying it wrong. Not string. I just mean we have to put it in quotes because it starts with dashes. You also have to put it in quotes if the key name has a dash in it. Like, it doesn't. That's why React like camel cases all the keys like when you do the styles. Okay, we gotta do the base color now. Does somebody else want to try the base color? The base color is a little bit different because no, the base color is going to be the same.
Yeah, that's what I tried first. It actually is the same.
Yes, you just don't put PX. That's about it.
Does somebody want to type it just to get some muscle memory, just to remember like how we did this? Even though it's going to be following the same pattern as the other ones? Or do you want me to just... Yeah, let's get you in here.
Right.
What was the minimum and maximum values of the sliders again?
You mean what is that? That means when it's...
No, the on its leftmost, what's the value, and then on its rightmost, what's the value?
Is the leftmost 10 by default?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what these min and max values mean.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
So when it's all the way to the left, the minimum, that's what the left value is.
Gotcha.
And the maximum would be 100, right? I mean, or whatever max to the value is.
Yeah, whatever you want to make the maximum.
The min and the max has to be integers?
Probably.
I think so.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because you're using a range, so yeah, it would need to be.
But it takes the values as strings. You might be able to pass the numbers too. It might automatically convert it to a string for you.
I just want to see if this is a thing. Is that not a thing?
It will keep calling it, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I would need to. Oh, but it's not recognizing value anyways.
You gotta pass a function, so you're executing that when the page loads. OnChange takes a callback function. So you could do it like Coriano was saying. That's another way to do it. Like it all depends. Like he was saying, instead of defining the function out here, he was just saying you could make an anonymous function and call the set.
Yeah, and pass the event in there.
Yeah. For like this app, I don't think it really makes a difference because, I don't think you would notice a difference. Like, depending, you could do it either way. All the three different ways we did it, like readability is kind of the same. Performance-wise, nobody would notice any performance difference. This is actually might be more performant because actually it's defining the function every time you come in. So you could define these using like use callback, and then it will memorize it, but you don't gain much performance by doing that. It wouldn't be noticeable. Okay, what's going on?
I think
we have an extra set of brackets.
Is the
There we go.
Okay, so let's see. Something's not working though. Base OnChange.
Is there an extra set of brackets around base?
Let's see.
No, I think you just need to update.
No.
Yeah, there is
two curly bracket. Yeah, it's extra curly bracket
on base. Yeah, you just take those out.
On which line?
in the diffs
Oh,
in the
22.
Oh, up here. Yep.
22.
Thank you. Yeah.
boom.
There we go.
Look at that.
That's good.
Doom. Nice.
Cool.
Looks like
You
we're
guys going to be
working.
around next week?
Yeah, we're gonna do this every Sunday, as
Awesome.
long as stuff doesn't come up. I think we completed that challenge.
Yay.